Hello students, myself Amrita Dhar, Assistant Professor of Electrical Engineering Department of Greater Kolkata College of Engineering and Management, JIS Group. I will teach you Power System 1. Today we will discuss about insulator. This is the continuation of insulator. In the previous video, I have discussed about different types of insulator, voltage distribution across a suspension insulator, string efficiency, and we have solved some problem on string efficiency. Today, I will discuss about the different methods of improving voltage distribution across the insulator strings, arcing shields and rings, and electrical test on the line insulator. So let's start. Now in the previous video I have already discussed that the potential distribution in a string of suspension insulators is not uniform. The maximum voltage appears across the disc which is nearest to the line conductor and decrease progressively as the crossarm is approached. Now, if the insulation of the highest stressed disc that is nearest to the conductor breaks down or flashover take place, the breakdown of the other units will also take place in succession. Now this necessitates to equalize the potential across the various units of the string, that is to improve the string efficiency. Now what are the methods of improving the string efficiency? There are three methods: by using long crossarm, by grading the insulator, and last one is by using the guard ring. So first method is the longer crossarm. The value of string efficiency depends upon K, that is the ratio of shunt capacitance to mutual capacitance. Now again in this case the total V, we can write the total voltage across string in terms of V1, and here the total the voltage across the disc that is V3, we can write V3 in terms of V1. V1 and V1 cancel out, so the string efficiency is only depend upon the K. So K is the ratio of shunt capacitance to mutual capacitance. Now the lesser the value of K, greater the string efficiency. That means more uniform is the voltage distribution. The value of K can be decreased by reducing the shunt capacitance. In order to reduce the shunt capacitance, the distance of conductor from the tower must be increased. So longer crossarm is used, but there is a limitation of the cost and strength of the tower to do not allow the use of very long crossarm. In practice, the value of K is equal to 0.01. Okay. Next one is the by grading the insulator. In this method, insulators of different dimension are so chosen that each has a different capacitance. Each disc has a different capacitance. Now the insulators are capacitance graded, that is they are assembled in the discs in such a way that the top unit has the minimum capacitance, increasing the progressively as bottom unit, that is the nearest to the conductor is bottom unit is reached. Now, since the voltage is inversely proportional to capacitance, this method tends to equalize the potential distribution across the units. Because the capacitance, because this disc has the largest voltage, so the value of capacitance is least in this disc, and this voltage is lesser than all the voltage, so this capacitance is high. So as the capacitance is inversely proportional to voltage, so the value of capacitance are so chosen that the value of voltage of each disc should be same. But this method has a disadvantage, that a large number of different sized insulator are required. Now, however, good result can be obtained by using standard insulator for most of the string and large units for that near to the line conductor. Last method is the using guard ring. Now, the potential across each unit in a string can be equalized by using a guard ring. Now, guard ring is a metal ring, okay, connected to the conductor and the surrounding of the bottom of the insulator. Now, guard ring is connected between conductor and bottom of the insulator. Now, the guard ring introduce a capacitance that is between metal fittings and the line conductor, okay. Now, the guard ring is connected counter in such a way that the shunt capacitance current, I1, I2 are equal to the metal fitting line capacitance current I1 dash, I2 dash. So, this results that the same charging current I flows through each unit of the string. So, there will be uniform potential distribution across the string, across the units. Proper operation of a transmission or distribution line is highly dependent upon the proper working of insulators. A good insulator should have a good mechanical strength to withstand the mechanical load and stresses. It should have a high dielectric strength to withstand operating and flashover voltages. Also, an insulator must be free from pores or voids which may damage it. Therefore, to ensure desired performance of the insulator, each insulator has to undergo various tests. So, testing of insulator. Now these are the different types of tests that are carried out on the overhead line insulator. Flashover test, performance test, routine test. First one is flashover test of insulator. Now, three types of flashover test are conducted before the insulator is said to have passed the flashover test. Power frequency drive flashover test, power frequency wet flashover test, and impulse frequency flashover test. The first one is power frequency drive flashover test. The insulator to be tested is mounted in the same manner in which it is to be used. Then a variable voltage source of power frequency is connected between the electrodes of the insulator. The voltage is gradually increased up to a specified value. Now this specified value is less than minimum flashover voltage. Now the voltage at which surrounding air of the insulator breaks down and become conducting is known as flashover voltage. The insulator must be capable of withstanding the specified voltage for 1 minute without flashover. Next one, power frequency with flashover test or rain test. Now in this test also the insulator to be tested is mounted in the same manner in which it would be used practically. Now then terminals of the variable power frequency voltage source are connected to both the electrodes of the insulator. After that the insulator is sprayed with the water at an angle 45 degree in such a manner that its precipitation should not be more than 5.08 mm per minute. Now the resistance of the water used for spraying must be between 9 kilo ohm to 11 kilo ohm per centimeter cube at normal atmospheric pressure and temperature. Now in this way we create artificial raining condition. Okay, now the power frequency voltage is applied and gradually increased up to a specified value. Now this voltage is maintained for either 1 minute or 30 seconds as specified, and observe that there should not be any flashover or puncture occurred. Now the insulator must be capable of sustaining the specified minimum power frequency voltage for specified period without flashover in the said wet condition. So, and this test is also called 1 minute rain test. Next one is the impulse frequency flashover test. Now this test is to ensure that the insulator is capable of sustaining high voltage surges caused by lightning. Okay. The insulator under test is mounted in the same manner as in the previous tests. Now an impulse voltage generator which generates a very high voltage at a frequency of several hundred kilohertz is connected to the insulator. Now this voltage is applied to the insulator and spark over voltage is noted. Now spark over voltage, the ratio of impulse spark over voltage to spark over voltage at power frequency is called as the impulse ratio. I repeat, the ratio of impulse spark over voltage to spark over voltage at power frequency is called as the impulse ratio. So this ratio should be approximately 1.4 for pin type insulator and 1.3 for the suspension type insulator. Performance test of insulator. There are 5 performance tests of insulator: temperature cycle test, puncture voltage test, mechanical strength test, electromechanical test and porosity test. First one is the temperature cycle test. Now in this test the insulator under test is first heated in water at 70 degree for an hour. Okay. Then the insulator is immediately cooled at 7 degree for another 1 hour. Now this cycle is repeated 3 times. Now then the insulator is dried and its glazing is thoroughly observed for any damage or deterioration. Next one is the puncture voltage test. Now the purpose of this test is to determine the puncture voltage. The insulator to be tested is suspended in the insulating oil. A voltage is applied and increased gradually until the puncture takes place. The voltage at which the insulator starts to puncture is called as a puncture voltage. I repeat, the voltage at which insulator starts to puncture is known as puncture voltage. Now this voltage is usually 30% higher than that of a dry flashover voltage for a suspension type insulator. Now 30% is means 1.3 times. Next one is the mechanical strain test. Now in this test, the insulator under test is applied by 250%, that means 2.5 times of the maximum working load for 1 minute. Then this test is conducted to determine the unlimited mechanical strength of the insulator. Then the insulator must be capable of sustaining this much of mechanical stress for 1 minute without any damage in it. So this test is conducted to determine the ultimate mechanical strength of the insulator. Next one, electromechanical test. Now this test is conducted only for suspension type insulator. In this test, a tensile stress of 250% of maximum working tensile stress is applied to the insulator. After this, the insulator is tested for 75% of dry spark over voltage. Next one is the porosity test of the insulator. Now in this test, a freshly manufactured insulator sample is broken into pieces. Now these pieces are then immersed into 0.5 to 1% alcohol solution of
dioxin
dye under pressure of 150 kg per centimeter square for several hours, say 24 hours. After that, the pieces are removed and examined for the penetration of the dye into it. Now the presence of a slightly porosity in the material is indicated by a deep penetration of the dye into it. So this test indicates the degree of porosity. Next one is the routine test of the insulator. There are 3 types of routine test in the insulator. First one is high voltage test, next one is proof load test, and third one is corrosion test. Now this test is usually carried out for pin type insulator. In this test, the insulator is inverted and placed into the water up to the neck. The spindle hole is also filled with the water and a high voltage is applied for 5 minutes. The insulator should remain undamaged after this test. Next one is proof load test. In this test, each insulator is applied with 20% in excess of working mechanical load, say the tensile load, for 1 minute. The insulator should remain undamaged after this test. Last one is the corrosion test. In this test, the insulator with its metal fitting is suspended into a copper sulfate solution for 1 minute. Then the insulator is removed from the solution and wiped and cleaned. Now this procedure is repeated for 4 times. Then the insulator is examined for any metal deposits on it. There should be 0 metal deposit on the insulator. That's all from today's class. If you have any problem, please contact with me. My contact details is given on the first slide. Thank you.